Before this story ends, you'll understand why one quiet moment can change an entire life. If stories that touch the heart matter to you, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay with us till the very last second, because what the millionaire discovers will stay with you long after the screen goes dark. The first sound that broke the silence of the mansion was not the ticking of the expensive clock or the hum of security cameras, but a soft lullaby. It drifted through the marble hallway late at night, gentle and trembling, like it was being sung by someone afraid to be heard. Adrian Blackwood, a self-made millionaire known for his cold logic and guarded heart, paused at the top of the stairs. This was his house, a place ruled by order, schedules, and silence. No one sang here, not anymore. He followed the sound slowly, his polished shoes barely touching the floor. It was coming from his daughter Lily's room. Lily was 12 years old and special, as the doctors liked to say. She had been born with developmental challenges that made the world loud, confusing, and often frightening for her. Since her mother died 6 years earlier, Lily had retreated deeper into herself. She rarely spoke, barely slept, and trusted almost no one. Adrian loved his daughter, but love did not come easily to him. He provided the best therapists, the most advanced treatments, and the finest education money could buy. Yet none of it filled the emptiness in Lily's eyes. That was why he hired Maria. Maria was the maid, a quiet woman in her early 30s with worn shoes and gentle hands. She kept her head down, did her work, and spoke only when spoken to. Adrian barely noticed her at first, except that Lily didn't scream when Maria entered the room. That alone had been enough to keep her employed. Now, standing in the dim hallway, Adrian watched through the slightly open door as Maria sat on the floor beside Lily's bed. Lily was rocking back and forth, her fingers twisted in her nightshirt, her breathing uneven. Maria was not forcing her to stop. She wasn't correcting her or telling her to calm down. She simply rocked with her, matching her rhythm, humming that soft lullaby. "It's okay," Maria whispered. "I'm right here. I won't leave." Adrian felt something tighten in his chest. He stepped closer, and the floor creaked. Maria looked up sharply. Fear flashed across her face. She stood quickly, lowering her eyes. "I'm sorry, sir," she said. "I didn't mean to." "Why are you in my daughter's room at this hour?" Adrian asked, his voice controlled but cold. Lily whimpered and crawled under her blanket, shaking. Maria took a breath. She had a nightmare. She was crying. "I couldn't leave her alone." "That's not your job," he said. Maria nodded. "I know." But she was scared. Adrian looked at Lily, then back at Maria. Something about the way Maria stood, protective, yet humble, made him pause. "You're dismissed," he said finally. "Go back to work." Maria hesitated, glanced at Lily, then quietly left. That night, Adrian couldn't sleep. Over the next few days, he began to notice things he had ignored before. Lily eating better when Maria sat nearby. Lily humming softly while Maria cleaned the room. Lily reaching for Maria's hand during therapy sessions, something she had never done with professionals. Curiosity turned into suspicion. One afternoon, Adrian checked the security footage. He expected to find Maria overstepping, perhaps breaking rules, maybe even manipulating his daughter. Instead, what he saw unsettled him in a different way. Maria wasn't just helping Lily. She was protecting her. On the screen, a visiting therapist raised her voice, frustrated by Lily's lack of response. Lily began to panic, covering her ears. Before Adrian could even react from his office, Maria stepped between them, her body shielding Lily. "Please," Maria said calmly. "She needs quiet, not pressure." The therapist scoffed. "You're a maid. Stay out of this." Maria didn't move. "Then fire me. But don't hurt her." Adrian stared at the screen, his hand frozen on the mouse. That evening, he called Maria into his study. "Sit," he said. She did, hands folded tightly in her lap. "You've crossed boundaries," Adrian began. "You interfere with professionals. You disobey instructions." Maria swallowed. "I only do what she needs." "And how would you know what she needs?" he demanded. Maria looked up, and for the first time, met his eyes. They were wet but steady. "Because my brother was like her." The room fell silent. "He was autistic," Maria continued softly. "The world scared him. People thought he was difficult, broken, slow. But he wasn't. He just felt more deeply than others. When we were young, our parents worked all the time. I raised him. I learned his language, his fears, his comforts. Adrian said nothing. He died 5 years ago, Maria whispered. Cancer. When I look at Lily, I don't see a problem to fix. I see a child asking not to be abandoned. The words hit Adrian harder than any accusation ever could. Why didn't you tell me this before? He asked. You never asked, she said gently. For a long moment, Adrian stared out the window at the vast estate he had built, room by room, fortune by fortune. For the first time, it felt empty. You are not fired, he said at last. Maria exhaled, relief washing over her face. But the truth didn't end there. Weeks passed, and Lily made small but undeniable progress. She smiled more. She slept through the night. One evening, as Adrian sat reading nearby, Lily reached out and touched his sleeve. Daddy, she whispered. The book fell from his hands. Tears burned his eyes as he looked at Maria, who stood in the doorway, smiling softly. That night, Adrian asked Maria to stay for dinner. Then another night, and another. One rainy evening, as thunder shook the house, Lily panicked badly, screaming and shaking uncontrollably. Adrian froze, helpless. Maria rushed in, wrapped Lily in her arms, and began singing that same lullaby. Adrian sank to the floor beside them. What is that song? He asked quietly. Maria hesitated. My mother used to sing it. When my brother was afraid. Adrian closed his eyes. His wife used to sing too. He had forgotten the sound. In that moment, the truth became painfully clear. He had built walls of money and control around his daughter, but it was love, simple, patient love, that she needed. From that day on, Adrian changed. He spent time at home. He listened more than he spoke. He learned Lily's silences, her signals, her fears. And he gave Maria something he never expected to give anyone outside his family, trust. Months later, Adrian offered Maria a new role, not as a maid, but as Lily's full-time caregiver and advocate, with a salary that changed her life. Maria cried when she accepted. You didn't just protect my daughter, Adrian told her. You taught me how to be her father. On Lily's 13th birthday, celebrated quietly in the living room of that same house, Lily did something no one expected. She walked up to Maria, hugged her tightly, then turned to her father and took his hand. The house, once filled with silence, echoed with laughter. Sometimes, the greatest truth isn't hidden in secrets or wealth, but in the quiet kindness of someone who chooses to care when they don't have to. And sometimes, it takes seeing your child through another's eyes to finally learn how to love them the right way. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who believes that compassion can change everything. Because the smallest acts of protection can lead to the biggest miracles.